Everything all right?
Frazzled, a little frazzled, frazzled,
Yeah, no,
frazzled.
same here. I am like behind all week. It's just never gonna happen right for me.
Mm.
So here we are live. What's up? What's up?
Live. All right, another week, another week. My beard and hair growth keeps exponentially getting more and more. I feel like I'm in quarantine part two all over again because
You need to embrace it for the manifesto, my friend.
I know. Well, I'm only about halfway through, so I guess fair enough. It has a lot to do with my fanfic. And,
You I think you mean slash fic.
so yeah, that's true.
Welcome to the Mid-Geek Crisis. What's
Welcome
up,
to this big
Chance?
crisis.
What's up,
What's
Adam?
going
Thanks for
on?
jumping on.
Let's kick off
Roll the credits.
113. Let's roll the credits.
Huzzah.
Another week of the Mid-Geek Crisis, episode 113. I'm Joe, the Afro Man, and my partner in crime, as always.
Pedro, Cautious Online. Thanks for jumping on, folks. Dan and Chance and Adam, friends of
You
the
guys
show.
are here, friends of the show. Everybody, welcome to another week. Welcome to another controversy, as usual. I think
Manufactured controversy.
manufactured controversy, right? Like the hobby is no longer like, yeah, so I played a video game, I got to level 15, it was pretty good.
I'm waiting for my new Nintendo Power to come in so that I
Yep,
can read up
yep.
on the Super Mario Bros.
Yeah, like get to find out what's happening in across the pond over there. Like no one knows. Like that's something we could talk about real quick as old men. Do you remember when gaming news happened in like magazine bursts? Like you really didn't know what was happening until that next issue of EGM or GamePro.
Yeah. I mean, like Resident Evil would be dropping in 3 months, and every magazine would have it on the cover, right? And you'd be like, "Oh, what's this? What's going on
this?
here?"
Like that's your first look. Your first
Yep.
look is that. It's
Literally called that right there on the cover, Resident Evil First Look, and you're like,
First look.
"Oh,
Yeah, you didn't know Mortal Kombat 4 was happening until like a week before it dropped, and you're like, what? And then it's like, there it is on the cover, and here are these moves, here are the fatalities ready to go. Now it's like we know when that developer was sitting on his toilet and tweeted out the idea mid drop.
why so grotesque?"
He's like, ugh. I'm gonna make a new Borderlands game. Like it's like
That's great, and we didn't care that the cover looked nothing like the game.
right?
Like,
Isn't that awesome? Like if you look at the old covers, so like what my favorite one was not GamePro. I had a subscription to one like a smaller one called Game Fan, and it was their
It
mascot.
wasn't small. That was like
Well,
a major.
it was a major one, but it wasn't as big as EGM and the other one. It was
sure.
kind of like the Rebel one.
EGM for you kids was Electronic Gaming Monthly.
That's
by
right.
the
That's
way.
right. Look, I remember when IGN was the Iguana Network.
Oh my gosh, come on. What's up, Kendo? Thanks for jumping on.
Hold on. I gotta say that the
Jesus
Iguana
Christ.
Network. I gotta push my glasses up here. No. So like, the mascot was this big burly superhero looking dude, but with a TV for a head. I think that was the mascot for Game Fan.
Oh yeah, yep, you're right.
But
yes.
The art cover for Game Fan was always like very crudely drawn. It wasn't like the best artist of the '90s or anything like that.
It's like old school D&D covers where you're like, what? Who drew
Yeah.
this? Kindergarten class? What is this?
It was very fan arty. Like
Yeah.
here's Mortal Kombat, but that looks nothing like Scorpion. But
A little
still-
better than Sonic, right? A little better than Sonic.
Like Scorpions over there, El Baja Zero over there. But yeah.
The good old days. Wait, let me see. Wait, let's see. Right, because I think Dead Rising is the Xbox games with gold, right?
Yeah.
So I can finally beat it
Woo!
with my Dead Rising Brady games.
Although what that Brady's game guide is going to tell you is that you can't have more than one save, and the new version has multiple saves. Oh,
Look at the map.
that Willamette map, man. That Willamette Mall map. That's
And
one
in
of my favorite
case
games.
it ever comes back, the Game Boy Advance Final Fantasy Tactics full guide. I'm never getting rid of these.
No,
Too much information.
too much info. And Tactics on GBA is phenomenal.
Yeah, that's not even
it's a little different, right? Like
it's not even a hot take. It's the best one.
Doesn't the game start off with like kids in a playground?
Is that one?
Yeah, it's the kids in the playground, and they're still.
Oh, they get sucked into the world, right?
But they do the snowball fight at the beginning in the playground, and that teaches you the tactics.
Oh, so good! Oh my god! Now I'm gonna have to read the guide again because I don't have the game anymore.
Text. I don't. Didn't T2 start out with kids? Yes, but then all of a sudden it was just brutal fun.
We should get that one up on our screen.
Anywho, there is a video player now built into StreamYard, so I can do that kind of stuff.
You do hot takes now? That's awesome.
Yeah, I'll get the show kind of organized. They just added
that's how it starts.
So the reason me talking about how news drops so slowly and whatnot is like the controversies just keep coming, right? And the level of expectation for a game is always to the max nowadays. Right? With a CD Projekt Red, I mean, people followed the development of that game of Cyberpunk for the past, like, what is it, 6 years or something like that? 5 or 6 years. They followed it to every moment, every drop.
Yes,
it
was the world's longest hype train ride.
And then when it came out, obviously they weren't prepared. The developers were not ready. The publisher overpushed it. The developers were scrambling to patch it. And because of all of that, because our fandom is the best fandom in all of all other geek fandoms, this had to happen, right? Like, all
right. So put it up. Do you think it's connected? Do you think they were hacked because of this, or just because like, all right?
Yeah.
I thought it was like, a high-profile victim, right? They're a high-profile victim. Why not go after them?
I mean, I didn't read the entire story. I knew what had happened. I got the text message in the morning. But like, I can imagine. See, you're pwned. Here's the manifesto, I guess, right?
It reads like a fake one, like a Hollywood manifesto, by the way.
It's like, you have been epically pwned.
I mean, do we still say that? Is that something we still say?
We have dumped full copies of the source code from your pre-force server on Cyberpunk 2077 and Witcher 3, Gwent, and the unreleased version of Witcher 3. We also dumped all the documents relating to accounting, administration, legal, HR.
Yep, they got everything.
And more. We also have encrypted all of your servers, but we understand that you most likely recover from backups. If we do not come to an agreement, then your source code will be sold or leaked online, and your documents will be sent to our contract in gaming and journalism, which, aka gaming journalism, wouldn't touch that. Like, they'll look at it, but like, yeah, it doesn't work that way, guy. But your public image will go down.
Doesn't game journalists, don't they release stuff all the time? Like,
but like this is already like CD Projekt Red and The Witcher are kind of like darlings, right? And
yeah.
But while Cyberpunk is came out very badly, they're still a good company. They're still good devs, and no one deserves this. And no
one deserves to have their stuff ransomwared.
Yeah, but also I love their your public image will go down the shitter even more, and people will see how shitty your company functions. Investors will lose trust in your company, and the stock will dive even lower. You have 48 hours to contact us.
48 hours. These are just like the emails I get in my spam box. By the way,
I know, right?
Same thing with my car insurance. I get that phone call a lot too from the scammers. So, I mean, is it real? I mean, they seem to be treating it as a real breach.
So CD Projekt Red then responded with this. It says, yesterday we discovered that we have been a victim of a targeted cyber attack due to. Can you zoom in? I got old man eyes. Do you have an old man keyboard? Just do a search. All right, come on. We don't want to Google it for you. What's going on here? Oh, is he on his phone? Is that it? Yeah, it won't even let me. It'll just
it's not gonna let you. It's not easy to do that on our limited resources. Enhance.
That's what we have. That's why we don't pay a producer. Anywho, that said, they know about it, and yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do. I'm interested to see.
They said they're not paying. They said, yeah, release it. We don't care. It's buggy shit anyway. Who fucking cares if they got it, right? That's. I don't like it. I don't like that stuff. I don't like that hacking stuff. That's bad. That's bad overall. I mean, if you steal it and just release it for free, that's fine. But if you steal it and charge people money for it, then that's not good.
No, it's not good, man. It's not cool. It's shitty. And you know damn well that this wasn't just a hacker group. This was more like probably some angry fan who decided to target them.
You did it, or yeah, I guess yeah.
And a hacker. Like, I'm not saying that he's not a hacker. I mean, I'm sure he
can be both a hacker and a fan.
Yeah, you can dual wield, you know. just sad. It's just sad. Our employees.
I appreciate their stance. They're not going to pay money for their own stuff, so she's off. Let's see how that goes in 48 hours. What news drops, right? Then we can chastise the news agencies who uses that information, right? That's what we can do.
Right. That's exactly it. Like, who unless it gets put in a public forum, whatever journalist that gets it, that if it isn't public, they won't report on it. They won't even leak it, because then they're going to be part of the leak. Unless the hacker actually puts it out there first, then they can.
So the trick is to get it as a journalist and put it on a public forum and then publish it. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, well, I mean,
we all know the cheat codes. We all know the cheat codes.
Cheat codes. Let's see here.
What's the other scandal? We got one more.
Gizmodo would totally do it. Gizmodo. Yeah. So yeah, CD Projekt Red source code is out there. I will say this: if Cyberpunk source gets put out, maybe someone will fix it.
Ouch. They can open source it, right? They can open source their fixes, and suddenly they're going to have a ridiculously good game. Are there mods out for that game? There are, right? People have modded it.
They released part of a mod engine out there. And did you not see? Let's see if I can find this story. This is not, since we're talking about the same company. So one of the first mods, of course.
The biggest dickus. I mean, Jesus.
Well, I mean, I'm sure
it's a kid show. Not really.
So. Here we go. This was last week, and I didn't get we didn't get a chance to talk about it. But
is it dope mods? What are we looking at here?
So one of the first mods was you can now have sex with Keanu Reeves.
The internet takes and it gives.
Well, they don't have the scene up. So yeah, there's official modding tools out which have been hidden by the creator on Nexus Mods, but yeah, essentially the idea here is that if you're not familiar with the game,
you can have sex, I assume.
Well, yes, you can have sex in the game, but Keanu isn't a physical person in the game. He is a kind of like a brain ghost.
Sure.
So
I've seen Johnny Mnemonic. I know what's up.
So he's in the world only because you can see him. But that said, someone of course means that you can now have sex with Keanu Reeves. So there you go. There's a follow-up story.
I mean, I won't lie. Sign me up. I'll play that game.
Yeah.
So that sounds like a dope game. Let's do it. As long as it's better than the GTA one, right? That was terrible.
That was terrible. Here we go.
Are you putting it up?
Well, I'm trying to find this. Apparently, Keanu Reeves says, "Please stop." Or no, the developers were like, "Please stop." CD Projekt Red wants you to stop having sex with Keanu Reeves.
Is that a headline?
Yeah,
that's a good headline. That's a good. Please stop having sex with Keanu Reeves. And that's only going to make more modders create more ways to have sex with Keanu Reeves, right?
I mean, that's not. Of course.
Don't ever ask the internet to stop doing something, because then it becomes a thing that they would do forever. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, there's the seeds. So you could kind of see the screenshot.
Straight out of my dream journal. Yeah, like, am I the friend roles? Am I the friend? I'm just curious. Have they announced the Charlize Theron Cyberpunk reboot yet? Asking for a friend? Yeah, I know. CD Projekt Red can't tell me how to live my life. Chance, are you the hacker? Are you the hacker? This your first.
That language matches. Very similar. You have 48 hours.
Can't tell me how to live my life.
Can't tell me how to live my life. No, but yeah, it sucks. Employees don't deserve their work out there. That said, it happened. CD Projekt Red, if any company can spin it, it'll be them.
Chance, that's it. That's canon now. You're gonna please the fifth. That's the canon. That's canon. We don't put up corrections.
Oh man. So, in other news.
Oh yeah, let's talk about a real scandal. What? Riot?
I'm so shocked.
What? Speaking of a place you don't want to work, right, or a company that you probably don't want to work for, look at this. Riot CEO is sued for sexual harassment. Is that him? That's his like smirky face. Wow,
yeah, dude, that guy, that guy exudes douche.
Wow, that's a throw out your drink if he's next to it kind of guy.
That is a punchable face. And
the picture. Really.
I mean, what's hilarious is we know we've probably seen this
all
guy
that Riot money and he can't get that picture off the internet,
yeah,
huh? I guess nobody's safe.
No, just like Jeff Knightley can't get rid of the Dorito Pope picture, like
how does everyone just go through their day unable to resist sexually harassing people? Like I don't.
So think about it this way.
This has never happened in my day. I don't know.
So here's the way I see it. So
because
am
I not powerful enough yet for it to qualify? Maybe I don't.
No. So when you're a CEO of a company like Riot, where we have already seen toxicity. I mean, wasn't one of the CEOs or whatever the kind of guy that would like fart in a room and then close the door?
He would hotbox his employees.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I remember that happened. That happened in a story. I think last year we reported on it. Yeah, he'd hotbox his employees with his own farts.
Dutch oven with blanket. Oh my God, that's terrible.
Yeah, it's just like that bro culture.
Right. I mean, like no one should be surprised that a toxic culture surrounded by a toxic candy shell stuffed up the butt of a toxic zombie would generate or be generated by a CEO this terrible, right? This is not,
it's not news to me. The entire game, the from the very beginning, League of Legends and all of that. I mean, again, there's a good game there.
Yeah, solid.
There's a solid game.
Obviously, genre. In fact, no other games have come close to that one, right?
Yeah, not like that.
This genre.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest streamed events every year. It's big. But that said, is the makers of the game are kind of a-holes.
Yeah, a lot of people show up to Trump rallies too, so that doesn't tell me anything, right?
Yeah.
What tells me is that there's a lot of douchebags out there.
Yeah.
So, I wish him well, I guess. I don't know. No, I don't. Settle, do what you need to do. Riot Games. What's the next company to go down from this, right? We had Ubisoft, Riot. Who else? Who's next? Who's winning bingo? Who's got the pool going? Although picking Riot, that would have been like short odds.
So this piece of news that came out 7 days ago, just again right after our show, the morning right after the show.
We generate the news engine right after. Yep. Wow.
What a huge purchase, man. That I don't even have comments for this one. Like,
that's a lot of dough.
$1.3 billion. So they're going to still function as their own Embracer Group, formerly
THQ Nordic, sure.
Yep.
Wait, is THQ Nordic the same folks who do that other game?
I mean,
I forget that. Why does that name remind me of some other game, some other big box game? Folks will know. So wait, how does this? Isn't Borderlands distributed by 2K? How does?
No, so they publish it, but Gearbox. I mean, they were for a long time, but
they
not
were
anymore.
Okay.
Borderlands 3 was not 2K. Borderlands 3 was just
Take
Gearbox.
Two Interactive. Is it Take Two or 2K?
It used to be Take Two. Yeah, Take Two Interactive. It used to be part of that. The Rockstar Take Two.
Yeah, it was Take Two Interactive. Kind of did Rockstar, and they had Gearbox in their wheelhouse, but Gearbox wasn't there anymore. So that's old news. This is. Why am I on a video game news show when I don't know anything about video games?
Well, so THQ Nordic has done a bunch of things, right? So they've done. They did Darksiders. They're going to release that Biomutant game that's coming out soon. Desperados 3. They do.
Desperados just dropped.
Yeah, they do Knights of Amular Reckoning.
Oh, okay. Well, that's where I know them from. Also, yep, Dan, thanks. Where's Waldo for the NES? Boom. Loved it. Most famous for Where's Waldo for the NES.
Most famous.
Wow, talk about two throwbacks in one statement, Dan. Well done. Where's Waldo and the NES. I love it. So $1.3 billion. Does this mean they have all the rights to Borderlands? Everything that comes out of it?
Right. So this also comes down to the new Eli Roth movie that's coming out. That was this was a year ago that it was announced that Eli Roth was kind of running with it, and then we reported, what is it, 2 weeks ago or so, that Kevin Hart was
Kevin Hart, excellent casting choice. I had my doubts, but now that I'm on board with the Roland. Yep.
And this
What a
amazing
phenomenal
casting.
choice as well.
I don't know how many in chat are familiar with the Borderlands like mythos, but yeah, that's Tannis.
She's not even a playable character, but
No.
she's just
But she's such an iconic character. I mean, she's very key to the story, and
she's iconic, like Jamie Lee Curtis is iconic.
yeah. So I'm excited for that. I wonder if Jamie Lee Curtis can pull off the crazy that is Tannis. You think so?
Yes, of course she can. I mean, True Lies. Think about her in True Lies, the way she frantically played that part. She's just, I mean, that we all remember her from True Lies, right?
Yeah. I mean,
and she's really nice. I should say we stalked her in a toy store. She was searching for some toys for one of her kids or one of her kids' kids or something. We just watched her. We just watched her down the aisle buying stuff the whole time. Couldn't help it. We were hoping for a way to interact with Jamie Lee Curtis because she's pretty awesome.
So far the casting is Jamie Lee Curtis,
Mm-hmm.
Kate Blanchett, and Kevin Hart.
Yeah, this is going to be a very expensive movie.
I think everyone's trying to jump on board the big budget movie right now.
No, because that's the only thing that's going to succeed in theaters anymore, Joe. Because of people like you going to see every freaking big box movie ever made, no matter how crappy it's going to be, they're the only movies that are made anymore. We don't have small box movies anymore.
I like small box movies though.
Yeah, but you like watching them at home.
That's fair. You caught me.
Which is, it's fine.
So thoughts? I mean, small box equals Netflix. Yeah, I think
you're right. And small box is Netflix, and there's nothing.
I think they've realized.
Netflix, Prime.
Here's the scenario now. And you kind of nailed it right there, Dan. You said it perfectly. Think about it this way. If a movie that was just like a basic rom-com or whatever, the cost of distribution, the cost of getting it out to all the theaters, the cost of marketing and merchandising and all of that to get it out there, the junkets that have to happen, all of that could be saved when you distribute it through Netflix or Hulu or Amazon Prime, or because first off you get them to buy it as the distributor, and then at the same time it's going to be on every screen immediately, and the money they must generate must be equal to the 20 million or whatever that they get back.
Yeah, I mean, you keep it low. Yeah, I mean,
if you set the expectations low, you might get that money back. I don't know how.
No, it's the flip, right? Those movies aren't worth making anymore because the movies you can really cash in on are the ones that translate universally into all markets, especially China's, right? An American romantic comedy is not going to make much sense. I shouldn't say that. Will not do as well in China as a big action film,
right?
Like Avengers, right? It just won't. So you want to make those because China's your new market, India's your new market, So that's where the money is, making it for the international market. Whereas, like, could Sandra Bullock even survive in today's economy? Right? Could any of these
Unless they put her in a movie like Speed or Demolition Man, no. I mean, you're right.
She's going to have to join the cast of Avengers. Everyone's going to be
in Avengers.
Avenger eventually. In order
you're just going to be like Tom Cruise. Oh, he plays so and so in Avengers. Oh, blah blah blah. He plays
Tom Cruise doesn't he just makes Mission Impossible films now, right? He doesn't really do much else.
I am interested though when he will come around to be a character in. I mean, Robert Redford is technically in Avengers, right? Like he played one.
Wasn't he also Mandalorian?
Robert Redford?
That was Nick Nolte.
Yes, Nick Nolte is in Avengers. Yes,
that's right.
I mean, he's part of the Disney group, right?
So I just think everyone's gonna eventually be an Avenger or Guardian of the Galaxy, one or the other.
Yes, yeah.
India has their own Spider-Man movie.
Every time I go to the Animal Draft House, or when I did go to the Animal Draft House, and they would watch any like superhero movie or whatever, they'd always put the Bollywood versions of the
Is they really? That's funny.
At the beginning,
that's good
they're
stuff.
Always hilarious.
Good cross-cultural enjoyment there. Very wholesome. Very wholesome.
So speaking of superhero movies, me, as many others I know, out there are hyped for the Snyder Cut. So we finally got a date for that. That was announced last week, and so it's March 13th,
18th.
18th, March 18th. We will be getting the Zack Snyder Cut on HBO Max. It'll be a 4-hour extravaganza. I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see what.
I mean, I was like, okay, this is going to be interesting, but the like little drabs of news that they're releasing, I'm like, I don't care, just give it to me. Like,
right. I mean,
we've already reached maximum hypeness. Just deliver it already. Like,
so
and this particular news, I'm like, how does that even fit into the movie? Like, I'm trying to remember Justice League, and I don't remember any part where.
So okay, that's
the
what you have to
Joker
understand,
can be in
right?
the
So remember, the movie that we got in the theater was a very, very, very like cut movie. Zack Snyder filmed a lot, wasn't complete filming, and then his daughter passed away.
Right.
He had to leave the project. Joss Whedon came in, and then when Joss Whedon came in, he said, "I want to do my own thing with this." He took the parts of what was there, went, I need a couple more shots. That was where the infamous mustache shot came in, because he wanted very specific shots of Superman, but he couldn't shave Henry Cavill couldn't shave the mustache because he was contractually obligated to keep it while he was filming Mission Impossible. And
trying to imagine those lawyers just writing that contract though.
Yeah, and then Joss Whedon became a problematic person on set. There was some controversy there, some harassment, some comments. He's been removed from he was eventually removed from DC Films altogether. He won't be doing anymore.
Oh my gosh!
Ray Fisher, the individual who played Cyborg, there were some allegations involving.
Yep.
And there's been a rally behind him. There's been investigations, etc. That said, while Justice League is enjoyable, I got a poster of it up here, and you like it.
You've got low standards, but yes, it's not the best. It's a decent film. The villain is terrible, but it's a decent film. The villain is
terrible. What makes me smile is seeing all of those characters.
Wait, it got an R rating? Justice League?
Yes, the new one does.
Oh, the new one, the 4-hour one.
The 4-hour.
Yeah, it's Zack Snyder. That makes sense.
Zack Snyder. So the vision is going to change, right? So think of all of what you saw. Just throw everything out the window. I mean, there's all sorts of scenes that have been redone. The villain. I mean, Darkseid is the villain in this movie, not the other guy.
Steppenwolf. What the hell's his name?
All right, one of the. You're right, Steppenwolf. Good job.
I think hairband. Every time I'm like, I think it's like a hairband or some sort of hairband. Nothing name.
Yeah. I mean, Steppenwolf is a villain. He is one of his minions, but he shouldn't have been. I mean, I saw where they were going, right? Like, hey, let's draw this out so that eventually we do get Darkseid, but that's not what happens, right? So
I always thought it was Darkseid.
It's Darkseid. No, it's just spelled like seed.
Right. I always thought it was Darkseid.
It's EID. But yeah. That said, the 4-hour is supposed to be more like it. There's going to be flashback scenes, kind of like what happened here, what happened there, villains. And from my understanding, this is going to be a flashback scene with Batman. And this is. I'm
just gonna say this picture has been in our queue for a long time, and every time I see it, I'm like, what is Joe looking at? What horrible corner of the internet are we looking at right now?
So again, and I know I've talked to buddies of mine online. I've talked to friends who are, we're fans of DC. We don't hate on it as much as the popularity is out there.
People hate on it because it's terrible.
Yeah. Suicide Squad is an interesting movie. It's a culmination of parts as usual, but not a very good movie execution. The direction that they went with Jared Leto's Joker was just weird. It wasn't where I would have gone with him. Jared Leto is a great actor. He's a good method actor. I think he can pull off creepy very well. They didn't have to wrap Joker with all the tattoos and all of that like extra.
It didn't bother me, but yeah,
it didn't bother me. But it wasn't necessary. I guess they tried so hard to make it not the Joker we've gotten in the past.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely a try-hard Joker.
It was a try-hard Joker.
Yeah.
That said, these images, these particular images we're seeing is Leto is Joker without all the tattoos on his face, with all of that, and it's an eerie-looking Joker. So we're gonna get to see what would have been if Leto had been given a full-on role as Joker. So here we are. He's in a smock of some sort.
How in this 4-hour movie are they going to fit in another, like, what is this, a 5-minute flashback, 10-minute flashback?
Might be. I mean, that's how they only had to pay Jared Leto.
This movie's going to be exhausting, Joe.
4 hours.
It's just going to be exhausting.
Yeah. I mean, the original idea was I think they wanted to make it, HBO wanted to make it, or I think Zack Snyder wanted to make it a 2-part, like, mini-series kind of thing, like we'll release one month.
HBO's like, no.
HBO was like, nope, just put it all out there.
Just put it all out there.
Be done with it. It's going to be tough to watch in one sitting, but it's exciting to kind of see playing with.
It's going to be interesting. I like the idea of it just from a film study perspective, where they can take the same film and cut it 2 different ways, add a little bit, and boom, you got a whole different feeling, different vibe. So Rolls, you managed to get through The Irishman. I have to commend you. I could not. I still have yet to even start it up because every time I'm like, oh, can't do it.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
It's 4 hours. Can't do it. Which is weird because I'll be like, you know what? I'll watch 6 hours of The Expanse. That's no problem. But at least it's episodic and I can get up.
Man. Yeah, I'm excited for it. I can't.
It's good. March 18th. It's going to be great.
March 18th, I'm excited for it. I'm weary. I mean, I know the hate. I mean, I already feel it, but I don't care. This is for me. This is for someone that's been wanting it. And
this is for me.
This is for me. This is for me.
I mean, I don't understand the point of alternate universe Justice League, but let's enjoy it.
Well, no, actually, the other movie is the alternate one.
How?
So this is the one that'll continue the canon, not that one.
What?
Yeah.
Did they put Joss Whedon and Zack Snyder in a Thunderdome? How is that decided? How is that?
I think when you
it's just always been Zack Snyder.
It was Zack Snyder was always his baby, but I think people didn't like where Joss Whedon took it. Warner Brothers was like, oh, we're gonna get that Avengers money because Joss Whedon did it, and then it didn't make Avengers money.
Yeah, because it wasn't very good, but it was fun, enjoyable. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it, but
I have very low expectations of it, but it was enjoyable. I like the Flash. I remember the Flash scene was pretty fun.
Great,
so, yeah,
great.
It was fun.
So what are you up to, man? What are you playing?
Well, I decided that February is going to be a tactics month, so I've been playing a mix of Gears Tactics and the Dark Crystal Tactics game.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Gears Tactics is great. If anybody out there likes XCOM, you are going to like Gears Tactics. It's a lot of fun. It's got all the combat. It's real visceral. The skills are cool. The combinations are cool. The story is cool because it's Gears of War, right? It's just war is hell. It's basically it. It's good. Dark Crystal Tactics took me a little bit to get into, but I'm starting to understand where they're trying to do in it, and it's very fun. Yeah, like Mario plus Rabbids. Yeah, exactly like that, which is like XCOM, except it's Mario and the Rabbids. But Gears of War is pretty.
So how are you enjoying playing? Is the game tailored properly with? Is the game tailored well with a controller?
Gears Tactics.
Yeah, I mean, like I know Gears because you can play it on PC with a mouse and keyboard.
Oh yeah, it is. I think so. I mean, you use the bumpers to cycle through the options, so it's probably a little slower than it would be on the Xbox. But it's no different from that Mario's Rabbids game that Dan's talking about, right? You kind of just use the controllers on the Switch. Same concept. Not any more complicated than that game. Actually, you have each of your characters have abilities and weapons, and you could play from there. So it's not as screen dense as like a Stellaris or a what's the other game I tried to play, but I just couldn't get past the screen. The Stellaris is a really good example of a PC game that got ported. Civilization is another one that got ported, and it just doesn't work with the controller, right?
Yeah, you want to touch, you want to use a mouse.
Yeah, you want to play that differently. So, but it plays way better.
You know what game works that way, which is surprisingly Diablo.
Yeah, Diablo works, except in multiplayer because inventory sucks. Diablo 3 sucks for inventory. And then what's the other? I think it was made for the Xbox. I don't think it was made for the PC. The Gears of War.
No, yes, Tactics was made for the Xbox
because the controls are like their controls are pretty well in there, and Dark Crystal Tactics might have been as well because I sort of get the controls that they're trying to do there and the way you move around the screen and stuff. But it's a lot of fun. It's great if you like tactics games. What are you rocking out? Also, we beat Donut County, which was super enjoyable. I know
I'm about to finish that one. That's about to be put on my list. And
Like 5 years late to that party.
Yeah, it's great
It's
little
a
game
lot
so
of fun.
far. I'm having a lot of fun with that. One game that I'll post about it, but I'll talk about it here that we did beat. So the kiddo's birthday was this past week.
So happy birthday.
He turned 11, and we didn't know what to do, but we both got our shots, and we decided let's kind of get out there a little bit, and we decided to mask up, and we hit up a place here in the Dallas area called Free Play. It's an old retro arcade. You pay a flat fee. All the arcades are set up, and it's all old arcades. It's hardly any new stuff, and
the arcades are open in Texas. I don't.
But what's nice is if every machine has got like a spray bottle and stuff, so you like wipe it all down.
Sure.
And all that kind of stuff. And
and it's huge, so you can all be 6 feet apart, right?
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I mean, there's not a lot of people in there. We went early in the morning, or late morning, early afternoon. Mm-hmm. And we got there, and the kiddo and me were running through it. And because it's free play, we got to sit down and we beat a game. Like the kiddo and me sat down and we beat a game, and we went through Blue Dolphin. It's an Atomic Wave game. It is Sammy and SNK Sega weird game. Blue Dolphin is kind of like Metal Slug.
Oh, okay.
It's like a Metal Slug game, but
you're dolphins.
You're like there's a lot of ocean levels, so you're swimming around or you're riding dolphins, and your dolphin is like your power up. So like instead of throwing bombs, your dolphin shoots out there and like attacks. It's a really,
oh my gosh!
But it's a really beautiful game. Let me see if I can pull up a video of it so that way you get some context.
Not like Echo the Dolphin, which again,
that's
a deep cut.
But Blue Dolphin was fun, and it's a long game.
Dan's beaten X-Men arcade game at one of those places a couple years ago. Good times, yep. I always find myself drawn to the Street Fighters, and I just get my ass kicked. Right, that's really what my enjoyment is. Going to those old arcades and playing some Street Fighters and fighting games.
So this is Blue Dolphin.
Oh my gosh. I don't think I've ever seen this.
Yeah, well, I'd never seen it in arcade form. I'd always seen screenshots of it, and you can now play it on Dreamcast because of a prolific hacker that was in Atomic Wave, the arcade board that's inside of these is a Dreamcast with more memory. And
that's why the Dreamcast didn't do well. No one understood it. It was ahead of its time.
So it was super ahead of its time. So what was great about it is,
oh my gosh, look at this guy tearing up that chopper.
Yeah, it's great. Very beautiful backgrounds, lots of colors, lots of bullet hell. And you're riding this dolphin at one point.
And you and the kiddo beat it for his birthday. Look at the old school rifles. What is this? What is this time period?
I don't know. It's got a weird like
are those like Nazis? What are they? What is this?
I don't know. I don't question it, but it was a blast.
There was no plot, just bullets.
Yeah, literally ride a dolphin.
He's literally riding a dolphin. There isn't
you've even got the knife like Metal Slug.
Yeah. I mean, does anything say like what is this 1990s extreme like riding a dolphin and gunning down Nazis, right?
Oh yeah. You see that slow down because all the graphics,
it's too much on the screen.
Too much on the screen, and it gets even worse later on with the bigger bosses that kind of take up most of the screen. But we had a great time, and like I said, we sat there for like an hour and a half. The wife kept coming back around, like going, "You guys are still here." We're like, "We're gonna beat it."
Good for you.
Yeah, that's so awesome. We went through it. I got pictures of it. He was very proud of kind of making it to the end there, and it was a blast. So that was definitely he's literally riding a dolphin.
Oh my god. He's ridiculous at this game too. This particular video. Well, look at that, slow it down.
Yeah, it was like that on the arcade too, with especially with two players going at it. And there's different weapons.
You'd have two dolphins, or you'd ride the same.
So the other character is a female character. She got a pink dolphin.
Like a pink, of course, because it's the 90s.
Yep. And the kiddo had no qualms playing the lady. He was like, "Oh, cool!" I was like, "Yes, rock on." So
that's awesome. That's good fun. Dolphins of Future Past specialization is overrated. You're totally right. And then Dan wants to know, did you jump?
There are sharks in the game. Absolutely. Of course there are.
You can have dolphin thing. Enemies got to be riding sharks, right?
Yep.
In the 90s, we thought dolphins were good. Now we know they are not.
There's other levels where you're off the dolphin and the dolphin kind of sits next to you and you like
cheers you on. Is that?
See, there you go. There's
no, it does the super attack.
Where the dolphin does the super attack. So that max meter down at the bottom is when you attack with the dolphin. Yeah, it was
It's
great.
got some fun graphics. Look, he lost his clothes. I was like, something.
Yeah. Oh, the kiddo lost it when that happened. He was
Of course.
cracking up.
That's good fun. Well, happy birthday, C. That's so nice. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So that's a fun game. It's a rare arcade machine to see out in the wild. So that was also one of the reasons why we decided to play it. I was like, hey, come and play it. He's like, all right. So we sat down and played it, and it was fun. So
That's awesome. That is fantastic. I'm jealous of that moment. That's great.
yeah, he it's just such a fun game. I thought he was cracking up at just seeing like because he doesn't play those type of games very often. I mean, it's hard to kind of sit him down and play that.
Yeah, no, totally. Totally. My kiddo was playing Donut County and she was figuring out all the puzzles and I could see her getting frustrated and like that moment where she's like, wait, if I do this and then this, that'll happen, right? So it's really neat puzzles.
So I've got a question for you here.
Yeah.
Transformers, right? Did you own any? I mean, you
The
were probably
toys?
a little, yeah.
I had the little ones, never got the big ones, but I had like Bumblebee. I had the cassette. I had the cassette player. The cassette, the one that turns into a dog.
Yeah, Blaster and Soundwave.
Soundwave, yeah.
Blaster, Soundwave.
I think that's the biggest I ever got was Soundwave. Was the biggest.
And you're familiar with HasLabs, right?
HasLabs? No, I'm not.
Hasbro, they're HasLabs.
Oh, the ones that
division.
produced. Yes, I'm familiar with that.
So HasLabs, one of their if for anyone watching isn't familiar,
they were going to make it like a Jabba the Hutt, like the big skiff, right? That was like
so HasLabs is essentially the
Kickstarter,
the crazy side of Hasbro, right? It's like hey, have you ever wanted a full size Jabba the Hutt? Not a small one, but a one that takes up like size of a
luxury
table.
barge, something desert barge.
The desert barge one. Have you ever wanted that? Well, we want it too. The problem is manufacturing that would be very expensive, and it would sit only a very niche market would actually want it. So why don't you pay us, Kickstarter style? We'll develop it, we'll make it, and we will ship it to you, and it'll be a special, thing. Well, Hasbro owns multiple licenses, and one of the first things that they ever announced for HasLab was something out of my dream journal. And
okay. So this is you unboxing your. My god!
No.
I've seen this.
Unicron.
Yeah.
So this has been, I think, 4 years in the making.
Look at the gloves.
So this is there's no audio on this. It's all ASMR. Well, I mean, when it's a $575 buy-in for this Transformer, and apparently he's gonna go up to about 4K in price because that's it. Like the ones that order are the ones that are made.
Oh my gosh! Look at the head.
I'm gonna fast forward a little bit to the
Dude's got some toys in the background, though, huh?
So this is the size of Unicron in planet form, right?
With no banana for scale, I can't figure out how big it is for the record. And yeah, they finally finished this Specialization Overrated. This is wow.
They did, and there it is, and it is a beast of a toy. Let me tell you. So. There he is when you're putting the rings around Unicron.
Okay, all right. This is a lot.
Right, but that's in planet form. He does transform.
Right. No, of course he does. This is a lot.
He comes with his floating head. There's the little skiffs that would be attacking him from the movie. There's the floating head. When you take off the mask, it's the blown up head version, and then of course you put the mask on, and there he is. And those are the size of the
to scale to scale
to scale of what they would be if they were on Unicron.
That's amazing.
And here's some B-roll of in full on Planet Eater mode.
Oh my gosh, that is beautiful though.
It's a great looking toy, and it's straight up like. That's just cool.
Oh wow! And you turn into that.
Yeah, the whole thing opens up, man.
This is pretty cool. Yep. This is you're right. This is straight out of the Transformer fan dream journal, right there.
But it's a toy that it's too articulate to be made, like mass produced. So it had to be it's almost special.
It's boutique. I get it. It's boutique.
Yeah. So now comes the transforming into robot mode, and he's a beast to transform. I'm just imagining you getting this and putting it on display in your room and your kids playing with it. That's just what I like. Yeah, I would. I'd totally let them. You're like, wait, no, that's not the. You're gonna break it. No, oh, look, he needs help. I'm gonna fast forward to
toys for adults with disposable income. Oh my gosh!
The problem is this is a Kickstarter, right? So this is $575 that you threw at something 4 years ago.
Yeah, no. I've had one of those Kickstarters, and I was like, never again. Oh, wow! You got to put all these pieces on yourself.
Yeah, I was like, what is this?
This is like a model.
Yeah, no. So these are little intricate little pieces that cover spots on the body.
Because they couldn't take them out of the press.
I guess that's where the screws go that hold.
It looks like higher quality plastic than I would have guessed.
I mean, it's what I am kind of a little
at some point it stops being a toy though. But yeah, so specialization, like I'd be lying if I wouldn't have it just stomp the hell out of my small figures.
So
right?
Here's my review from watching this video. Right, one, it is a beautiful, massive toy.
Yes, we are ready to see Chaos Bringer mode.
So that's in full transformation mode.
It's a Hasbro Gundam.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. So here's where I'm like, I think my review would be like, this is a cool looking toy. My problem is you pay a lot of money for it, and it's still not as detailed as I would want paint wise. I feel like there's lots of places where it's just sprayed in orange.
Yeah, they didn't even paint it. It looks like it's just manufactured in the colors you need.
Right.
Yeah.
So at this point, this is a moment where I can't wait to see someone kit bash the crap.
Yeah, they're gonna wash it. They're gonna fill those cracks with some darkness.
Add the LEDs. Add the wash. Add maybe some damage to them. Because I mean, you can't really play with this, so it's gonna be a display piece. But these are like showing the size scale. This is the biggest transformer they've ever made.
Isn't that transformer made of a bunch of transformers?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
That's Devastator.
Yeah.
That's a beast of a toy.
That is a beast of a toy.
And he's finally out there. He's starting to ship soon. So this was one of the first unboxings. And honestly, I think that's really cool seeing,
$600. That's a
lot, man. But I mean, what do we talk about on this show? We're old. We've got more disposable income than time.
It's true.
So I mean, we talk about. I mean, Dwarven Forge, for example.
Dwarven Forge, for example, is that what we're talking about?
I mean, Dwarven Forge is one of those things where, like, you dump $1,000 or into a Kickstarter, and then you
$1,000. That doesn't even get you in the door, Jody.
Yeah, I'm sorry. My bad.
What are you, just buying a tree in a corner?
Yeah, so Dan, and you're absolutely right. I have time to stare at a toy. So that's why some of these toys kind of become what they do. Like, as much as this toy right here is exactly
it's a boutique piece of art. It also allows you to buy a childhood, right? You've always wanted a
Unicron.
How often did we take that great blanket we had, throw it on the ground, and that was, the Unicron's fort or whatever, and you built what you could around it to play Transformers. And
right. So that's exactly right. Like, I
like that it comes with those little dudes to scale. That's amazing.
To scale, it's like so tiny. It's such a cool looking toy, man. I'm excited for that. I'm excited for the fans that paid for this. That said, I want to flip the coin real quick before you're staying on topic. There is something else. Right. If you didn't know, there is third-party Transformers.
Okay.
Out there, and they're not.
We don't call them bootleg Transformers, though.
No, and they're not considered bootleg Transformers because they're not copies of a mold. They're not taking a Transformer. They're basically like, hey, we're going to manufacture our own of this character because we don't like the way Hasbro has been doing it. So while Hasbro has been working on this, another company has been making their own Unicron.
Is it even bigger? Ooh, it's got a cool face.
Yeah, he's a little different looking. He's not as detailed, but he's more cartoony.
Gotta be just a little different, right?
Just a little different. And he's also pretty big. He's not as big as the Hasbro version, but he's also a little cheaper. And he's not called Unicron on the box, of course. They can't do that. But he's got all the parts for him, and he's only $300. He
looks pissed. He does. Oh, and look, wow! It's just different enough to not be sued, I assume.
Well, right. So if you look at any of the box arts out there, they ship it without the head on the art pictures because the art, the face of Unicron is what matters, right?
Yeah.
So they have another piece that they put on the head that fits. That's just like this flat disc looking eye head thing that looks absolutely weird. See that see that headpiece that they've got?
Yeah. The
it's
placeholder
not,
head.
It's not that part right there is the Unicron part, and then it wraps around the front as well.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
I mean, that's pretty cool, and that's out there. Like anyone, you can order that right now. So here's a way for someone that didn't get on the HasLab big purchase train to own a Unicron, since it's going to be just as.
Yeah, but you got to own the original for
sure.
You got to have the authentic one. Dan Voltron, that was my jam. I think I had the Yellow Lion, and my buddy called me up and he got Voltron for Christmas, and when I went over there. He had gotten to the 26 one, the Voltron version 2 with the little vehicles that came together.
Oh, the car one, yeah.
The car one. And I remember being like, dude, that's not Voltron. What is this?
Ah, dude. he totally I
was like, you don't have the lion. What is this garbage? Well, I was expecting the lion. I didn't know about the other Voltron, you know?
I get it. Oh, man.
There was a dude out there making 3D printed Voltrons, which are super detailed. You know, it's interesting.
Oh, you could get it. I have. There's a folder on my NAS folder on my NAS drive with models that eventually might get printed one day, and I have the STL files for all that. It's a complicated build, but that's also what's cool about 3D printers, right? Like being able to build something like that from models.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool.
And print it yourself. I mean, honestly, that Unicron is cool, but if someone made a model in pieces, I'd print it because the time that I got saves me the $500 or whatever that I have to spend on them, and I could kit bash it myself already anyway.
Yeah, you can kit bash it without having to bash it, right? You sort of build up in what you want. Yeah. Some folks had GoBots. I remember the GoBots from 10,000 years ago.
The Kmart of Transformers.
Mommy, I want Transformers. We have Transformers at home.
Transformers at home. That's exactly it.
GoBots.
Oh man, GoBots. You know, GoBots are owned by Transformers now.
Are they really?
Yeah, Hasbro bought up the license. They bought up everything. So then what?
That would be like Nintendo buying Sega.
So technically, GoBots, the characters from GoBots are technically Transformers now in the mythos, and they've used the characters like Leader 1 and all of those as other characters in reboots of Transformers.
This is the deepest fandom I thought I would ever go for Transformers. That is amazing.
Transformers is a deep fandom.
That is deep. I mean, it's like Sonic. It's like you get these franchises that are around forever. I could see Nintendo buying Sega. Thanks, Chance. I could too. Just
I'm waiting for
one of those weird childhood things.
I'm waiting for like Microsoft or whatever to pick up Sega. Sega is one of those companies that is just hanging on by its nostalgia threads, but I don't think it turns a profit very often. I mean,
it's going to be EA. EA is going to pick up Sega, and we're all going to be sad. I hope not. So sorry. Oh, that's a bummer to go on. I'm sorry, everybody. I'd also like to play a version of Rock and Stocking Bots that actually worked for more than 2 fights. That's fair too. Wow, we're really bringing it back rolls for that one. There is a Transformer Tactics game. I put it on my wish list. There is a Tech Stories Transformers game. I was like, well, maybe I'll buy this next if I finish the other 2.
I remember that came out. I was wondering how that.
It looks like a great tactics game, so I might try it out. Disney buying Sega. You heard it here first. Thanks, Adam.
Oh God, Aaron Centurions, Bionic 6.
Bionic 6.
Centurions.
I remember Bionic 6.
I remember correctly. Then Centurions had the hologram on their chest, right?
Yep. Centurions had the hologram. Bionic 6 were die cast, so you can really wail on your brother with them. Those were those old exactly. Just
don't you scream! Don't you scream! Don't you scream!
No, or shh. I'm sorry. You can play with my toys. I'm sorry. Don't scream. Shh. Sorry. The bruise was swelling up. Yeah.
Mike, does Disney own? Not yet. Yeah, I mean,
does Disney own insert anything?
I always surprises me now when I'm on Disney.
They'll never own my heart, Dan. They'll never own my heart. They own Joe's. They won't own mine.
They own a part of it. The other part belongs to Warner Brothers. Yeah, it's just like I'm cut right down the middle.
You go right down the middle. Oh my gosh.
Now when Disney buys Warner Brothers, that's gonna hurt.
That would be a big. That's going to hurt everybody. We're not going to be able to get entertainment from anyone except Disney. Remember BattleBots? Rest in peace, Grant. Yep, we remember the BattleBots.
It's still around as a few years. They rebooted a few years ago. Real quick, just because we were on the topic of toys and everyone's talking about remember this, remember that. What was your favorite toy growing up? What was that one toy that you got and you were like you held on and you remember it nostalgic wise?
I had a Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe Snake Eyes, and the little like 19, I want to say like 83 or 84 Kenner R2D2. It had the you could twist it like a little trash can and drive it around. And then the original G.I. Joe Snake Eyes. We had a lot of G.I. Joes growing up. And it got to the point between my brother and I where we had to have 2 Snake Eyes and 2 Storm Shadows. Otherwise we fought over which, so we always had to have our own.
So growing up for me, I used to have. I'm trying to find a picture of it.
GI Joes might be my first ever kit bashes. Once I discovered you could unscrew the back and swap out arms and legs and stuff like that, those were my first ever kit bashes. So yeah.
Yeah. So wow, it's gone up in price. What?
Oh my God, NFL Huddle's book. Nice about NFL mascots. That is an amazing. It's an amazing thing to Especially just overrated. I cleaned out my mom's old apartment last year, so this stuff is super fresh. NES, lots of Lego. Micro Machines, yes.
Oh man, brought to you by Galoob.
Vintage Axis and Allies.
So I never owned Optimus Prime growing up. I never got a chance to get an original Optimus Prime.
Same kid who owned the Voltron old Optimus Prime in my neighborhood. There was like one kid who had all the good toys.
I got one later on, but when I was as a kid during the hype of Transformers, I never had an Optimus Prime. But I was then eventually able to purchase a new version of Optimus Prime when G2 came out, or Generation 2 for those, or after the movie, they re-released Optimus Prime as a new character, it was called Power Master Optimus Prime, and so it was Optimus Prime, and then he'd you put him into a different thing, and he'd like mech out, he'd get bigger, and this was it right here.
That was your toys back then, man. They were so. That looks awesome.
So to see that center part, the cab, that part slides out, and he's a smaller version, right? So so you can see the head there.
Look at all those points of articulation, folks. That's what we had in our day. We had 3 points of articulation.
That was Optimus Prime right there.
So awesome.
Flip up head. He was plastic. He wasn't as cool, but he came in this base that you fold out, and
that dude's selling a pretty mint one too. Holy cow!
Yeah, $60. 60 bucks. And in Japan, he was called God Genera.
Yeah. Blah blah blah. All right. With your bona fides.
But yeah, that was my.
Was that kid with all the toys named Steve in your neighborhood? Because screw you, Steve.
Yeah, no, right. You finally bring out that one toy that you've been wanting for a long time, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, well I got 3 of them," or like I got the rest of the set.
Well, yeah, or you're like, "Oh, you got Storm Shadow with the sweet snow outfit. That's awesome. Look, I got the full on Cobra base," and you're like. You got the aircraft carrier last year. What the hell?
Well, my dad and mom are divorced, so my mom and dad bought me both a USS flag, and so now I've got 2 of them. I'm like, oh. Although I did have a friend like that, but he was the type of friend that didn't care. His parents just bought him his love, and so all he really wanted was love, so he didn't care about his toys.
Really sad.
So he's the type of kid that would give me a lot of his toys. He's like, you want it? I really don't care for it.
Because you loved him. Because you loved him. And his toys.
And his toys.
Steve always made me play the bad guys. This is especially funny because I have a good friend named Steve, so this cracks me up. deep
damn it, Steve.
Hey, points of articulation is an important thing when out there buying action figures, man. Come on.
I remember when I got older.
He-Man? That's just like...
Yeah, just like big burly. Point of articulation, when I got into high school, and you were probably in college. That's when the toys started getting the Todd McFarlane toys and
that's my brother. He picked.
That's when they're like 20 points of articulation. You're like 20. You mean you could have more than 5?
You know, you're like, where did they even put all those points of articulation?
All of a sudden, you buy one for the first time, and you're like, wait a minute, wrists move? What? Like all the toys were just like.
Well, that was a big deal when the forearms for G.I. Joes would suddenly turn.
When the forearms started turning, as opposed to just being up and down like that. That was a big deal. You just put the gun in. You're like,
freeze, Cobra.
Yeah. No, I get it.
So many good toys.
So many good toys.
So many good toys.
Let your kids play with your toys, folks. I had a big sack of my Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
So as a kid, and I gave them to my kids many years ago, and to this day, they'll set them up and play with them.
We had a play date with one of the kids in our pod, and my child immediately was like, "Let's play." So they played the racing car game, the Nintendo Switch, because I've got 2 Switches now, and they rocked those out. And it was really fun watching them figure out, because they couldn't figure out how to connect the races, and I wasn't going to show them. So they just figured out how to play their own game with it, and probably half of it was just annoying dad. So no matter where I was in the house, they would have the cars follow me around. Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, you two are having fun with this. So they just had fun playing that. So, yeah, let your kids play with your toys. Yeah, exactly. Here you go, kids. Figure it out. Yep.
That said,
you don't do that with beans or food or can openers, but you do it with toys.
Oh man, that's correct. That's correct. You don't. Your kids, you don't. Uncle Bernie would not like that. Not like.
So how's the Switch racing with Wi-Fi now, less buggy? I don't know. The kids were playing, right? Yeah. I don't. That's not. I haven't tried it in a while yet. We just been rocking it out there. Thank you for adding that.
Again, like, subscribe on the YouTube. Follow us on the Twitch. Follow us on Twitter. We are our handles are of course the Mid-Geek Crisis on Twitters. I tend to post there a lot. Yeah,
we're doing some things. Let us know what games you're beating. I think Chance may have jumped on one. Some of these games you're playing out there beating. Throw them up there, especially when you could beat them quickly. Send me the cheat codes, fellas. Send me the cheat codes, folks. I want the fast games.
Get them out there. Again,
get them out
there.
Always.
Bring it up. Always. Be kind, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Episode...
Neo 2. All right, we can check that out, Kendo. Thanks.
Episode 113 in the can. Love you guys.
Be kind.